New Thought Society.
For she had eyes and chose me. Act 5, Scene 1. A churchyard. Enter two clowns with spades into the scene. First clown questions. Is she to be buried in Christian burial that willfully seeks her own salvation? Second clown replies, I tell thee she is, and therefore make her grave straight. The crowner hath sat on her, and finds it Christian burial. First clown questions, how can that be, unless she drowned herself in her own defense? Second clown responds, why, 'tis found so. First clown responds, it must be se offendo, it cannot be else, for here lies the point. If I drown myself wittingly, it argues an act, and an act hath three branches. It is to act, to do, and to perform. Argal, she drowned herself wittingly. Second clown responds, nay, but hear you, goodman Delver. First clown replies, give me leave, here lies the water. Good, here stands the man. Good, if the man go to this water and drown himself, it is, will he, nil he goes, mark you that. But if the water come to him and drown him, he drowns not himself. Argal, he that is not guilty of his own death shortens not his own life. Second clown questions, but is this law? First clown replies, Mary, ist, crowner's quest law. Second clown responds, will you had the truth on't? If this had not been a gentlewoman, she should have been buried out, Christian burial. First clown responds, why, there thou sayest, and the more pity that great folk should have countenance in this world to drown or hang themselves, more than they're even Christian. Come, my spade. There is no ancient gentleman but gardeners, ditchers, and grave makers. They hold up Adam's profession. Second clown questions, was he a gentleman? First clown responds, was the first that ever bore arms. Second clown responds, why, he had none. First clown replies, what, art a heathen? How dost thou understand the scripture? The scripture says Adam digged. Could he dig without arms? I'll put another question to thee. If thou answerest me not to the purpose, confess thyself. Second clown replies, go to. First clown continues, what is he that builds stronger than either the mason, the shipwright, or the carpenter? Second clown responds, the gallows maker, for that frame outlives 1,000 tenants. First clown replies, I like thy wit well, in good faith, the gallows does well. But how does it well? It does well to those that do ill. Now thou dost ill to say the gallows is built stronger than the church. Argal, the gallows may do well to thee. Toot again, come. Second clown questions, who builds stronger than a mason, a shipwright, or a carpenter? First clown replies, tell me that, and unyoke. Second clown responds, marry, now I can tell. First clown, toot. Second clown, mass, I cannot tell. Enter Hamlet and Horatio, afar off into the scene. First clown continues, cudgel my brains no more about this, for your dull ass will not mend his pace with beating. And when you are asked this question next, say, a grave maker. The houses that he makes last till doomsday. Go, Get thee to Yogin, fetch me a stoup of liquor. Exit second clown from the scene. The first clown digs and sings. First clown continues. In youth, when I did love, methought it was very sweet to contract, the time for my behove. Methought there was nothing amight. Hamlet questions, has this fellow no feeling of his business, that he sings at grave-making? Horatio responds, custom hath made it in him a property of easiness. Hamlet continues, 'tis e'en so, the hand of little employment hath the daintier sense. First clown, singing, but age, with his stealing steps, hath clawed me in his clutch, and hath shipped me intil the land, as if I had never been such. First clown throws up a skull. Hamlet speaks. That skull had a tongue in it, and could sing once, how the knave jowls it to the ground, as if it were Cain's jawbone, that did the first murder. It might be the pate of a politician, which this ass now o'erreaches, one that would circumvent God, might it not? Horatio replies, it might, my lord. Hamlet continues, or of a courtier, which could say, good morrow, sweet lord, how dost thou, sweet lord? This might be my lord such a one, that praised my lord such a one's horse, when he meant to beg it, might it not? Horatio responds, my lord. Hamlet continues, why, e'en so, and now my lady worms, chapless, and knocked about the mazzard with the sexton's spade. Here's fine revelation, and we had the trick to see't. Did these bones cost no more than breeding, but to play at logats with them, mine ache to think on't. First clown, singing, a pickaxe and a spade, four, and a shrouding sheet. A pit of clay, for to be made, for such a guest as meet. Hamlet continues, there's another, why may not that be the skull of a lawyer? Where be his quiddities now, his quillets, his cases, his tenures, and his tricks? Why does he suffer this rude knave how to knock him about the scones with the dirty shovel, and will not tell him of his action of battery? This fellow might be in time a great buyer of land, with his statutes, his recognizances, his fines, his double vouchers, his recoveries. Is this the fine of his fines and the recovery of his recoveries, to have his fine pate full of fine dirt? Will his vouchers vouch him no more of his purchases, and double ones too, than the length and breadth of a pair of indentures? The very conveyance of his lands will hardly lie in this box, and must the inheritor himself have no more? Ha! Horatio responds, not a jot more, my lord. Hamlet questions, is not parchment made of sheepskins? Horatio replies, my lord, and of calfskins too. Hamlet continues, they are sheep and calves which seek out assurance in that. I will speak to this fellow, whose graves this, sirrah? First clown responds, mine, sir. First clown sings, a pit of clay for to be made, for such a guest is meet. Hamlet responds, I think it be thine indeed, for thou liest in't. First clown replies, you lie out on't, sir, and therefore 'tis not yours. For my part, I do not lie in't, and yet it is mine. Hamlet replies, thou dost lie in't, to be in't, and say it is thine. 'Tis for the dead, not for the quick. therefore thou liest. First clown replies, 'Tis a quick lie, sir, 'twill away again from me to you. Hamlet questions, What man dost thou dig it for? First clown replies, For no man, sir. Hamlet questions, What woman then? First clown responds, For none, neither. Hamlet questions, Who is to be buried in't? First clown replies, One that was a woman, sir, but rest her soul, she's dead. Hamlet replies, How absolute and knave is, we must speak by the card, or equivocation will undo us. By the Lord Horatio, this 3 years I have taken note of it. The age is grown so picked that the toe of the peasant comes so near the heel of the courtier, he galls his kibe. How long hast thou been a grave maker? First clown responds, Of all the days i' the year, I came to't that day that our last king Hamlet o'ercame Fortinbras. Hamlet questions, How long is that since? First clown responds, Cannot you tell that? Every fool can tell that. It was that very day that young Hamlet was born, he that is mad and sent into England. Hamlet questions, Mary, why was he sent into England? First clown replies, Why, because a was mad, a shall recover his wits there. Or, if a do not, 'tis no great matter there. Hamlet questions, Why? First clown replies, 'Twill not be seen in him there. There the men are as mad as he. Hamlet questions, How came he mad? First clown replies, Very strangely, they say. Hamlet questions, How strangely? First clown continues, Faith, e'en with losing his wits. Hamlet questions, Upon what ground? First clown responds, Why, here in Denmark, I have been sexton here, man and boy, 30 years. Hamlet questions, How long will a man lie i' the earth ere he rot? First clown responds, Aye, faith, if a be not rotten before a die, as we have many pocky courses nowadays, that will scarce hold the laying in, a will last you some 8 year or 9 year. A tanner will last you 9 year. Hamlet questions, Why he more than another? First clown responds, Why, sir, his hide is so tanned with his trade that it will keep out water a great while, and your water is a sore decayer of your whoreson dead body. Here's a skull now. This skull has lain in the earth 23 years. Hamlet questions, Whose was it? First clown replies, A whoreson mad fellow's it was. Whose do you think it was? Hamlet replies, Nay, I know not. First clown continues, A pestilence on him for a mad rogue, poured a flagon on Rhenish on my head once. This same skull, sir, was Yorick's skull, the king's jester. Hamlet questions, This? First clown replies, E'en that. Hamlet continues, Let me see. Hamlet takes the skull and continues, Alas, poor Yorick, I knew him, Horatio, a fellow of infinite just, of most excellent fancy. He hath borne me on his back 1,000 times, and now how abhorred in my imagination it is. My gorge rises at it. Here hung those lips that I have kissed, I know not how oft. Where be your jibes now, your gambols, your songs, your flashes of merriment, that were wont to set the table on a roar? Not one now, to mock your own grinning. Quite chop fallen, now Get you to my lady's chamber, and tell her, let her paint an inch thick. To this favor she must come, make her laugh at that. Prithee, Horatio, tell me one thing. Horatio questions, what's that, my lord? Hamlet questions, dost thou think Alexander looked o' this fashion i' the earth? Horatio responds, e'en so. Hamlet questions, and smelt so, pah! Hamlet puts down the skull. Horatio replies, e'en so, my lord. Hamlet continues, to what base uses we may return, Horatio? Why may not imagination trace the noble dust of Alexander till he find it stopping a bunghole? Horatio responds, 'twere to consider too curiously, to consider so. Hamlet continues, no, faith, not a jot, but to follow him thither with modesty enough and likelihood to lead it, as thus Alexander died, Alexander was buried, Alexander returneth into dust, the dust is earth, of earth we make loam, and why of that loam, whereto he was converted, might they not stop a beer barrel? Imperious Caesar, dread and turned to clay, might stop a hole to keep the wind away. Oh, that earth, which kept the world in awe, should patch a wall to expel the winter's flaw. But soft, aside, here comes the king. Enter priests in procession, the corpse of Ophelia, Laertes, and mourners following. King, queen, their trains into the scene. Hamlet continues, the queen, the courtiers, who is this they follow, and with such maimed rites? This doth betoken the course they follow did with desperate hand fordo its own life. 'Twas of some estate, couch a while and mark. Hamlet retiring with Horatio. Laertes questions, what ceremony else? Hamlet speaks, that is Laertes, a noble youth, mark. Laertes questions, what ceremony else? First priest replies, her obsequies have been as far enlarged as we have warranty. Her death was doubtful, and but that great command o'ersways the order. She should in ground unsanctified have lodged till the last trumpet, for charitable prayers, shards, flints, and pebbles should be thrown on her. Yet here she is allowed her virgin krantz, her maiden struments, and the bringing home of bell and burial. Laertes questions, must there no more be done? First priest replies, no more be done. We should profane the service of the dead, to sing a requiem and such rest to her as to peace parted souls. Laertes responds, lay her i' the earth, and from her fair and unpolluted flesh may violets spring. I tell thee, churlish priest, a ministering angel shall my sister be, when thou liest howling. Hamlet exclaims, what, the fair Ophelia? Queen, scattering flowers, speaks, sweets to the sweet, farewell. I hoped thou shouldst have been my Hamlet's wife. I thought thy bridebed to have decked, sweet maid, and not have strewed thy grave. Laertes speaks, oh, treble woe, fall 10 times treble on that cursed head, whose wicked deed thy most ingenious sense deprived thee of. Hold off the earth a while, till I have caught her once more in mine arms. Laertes leaps into the grave. Laertes continues, now pile your dust upon the quick and dead, till of this flat a mountain you have made, to o'ertop old Pelion, or the skyish head of blue Olympus. Hamlet, advancing, speaks. What is he whose grief bears such an emphasis, whose phrase of sorrow conjures the wandering stars and makes them stand like wonder-wounded hearers? This is I, Hamlet the Dane. Hamlet leaps into the grave. Laertes exclaims, "The devil take thy soul!" Laertes grappling with Hamlet. Hamlet responds, "Thou prayest not well. I prithee, take thy fingers from my throat, for, though I am not splentative and rash, yet have I in me something dangerous, which let thy wisdom fear. Hold off thy hand." King speaks, "Pluck them asunder." Queen exclaims, "Hamlet, Hamlet!" All speak, "Gentlemen." Horatio speaks, "Good, my lord, be quiet." The attendants part them, and they come out of the grave. Hamlet continues, "Why, I will fight with him upon this theme until my eyelids will no longer wag." Queen questions, "Oh, my son, what theme?" Hamlet replies, "I loved Ophelia. 40,000 brothers could not, with all their quantity of love, make up my sum. What wilt thou do for her?" King responds, "Oh, he is mad, Laertes." Queen speaks, "For love of God, forbear him." Hamlet continues, "Swoons, show me what thou'lt do. Woot, weep, woot, fight, woot, fast, woot, tear thyself, woot, drink up easel, eat a crocodile. I'll do't. Dost thou come here to whine, to outface me with leaping in her grave? Be buried quick with her, and so will I. And if thou prate the mountains, let them throw millions of acres on us, till our ground, singeing his pate against the burning zone, make Ossa like a wart. Nay, and thou'lt mouth all rant as well as thou." Queen replies, "This is mere madness, and thus a while the fit will work on him, anon, as patient as the female dove, when that her golden couplets are disclosed. His silence will sit drooping." Hamlet replies, "Hear you, sir, what is the reason that you use me thus? I loved you ever, but it is no matter. Let Hercules himself do what he may. The cat will mew, the dog will have his day." Exit Hamlet from the scene. King speaks, "I pray thee, good Horatio, wait upon him." Exit Horatio from the scene. King speaks to Laertes, "Strengthen your patience in our last night's speech. We'll put the matter to the present push. Good Gertrude, set some watch over your son. This grave shall have a living monument. An hour of quiet shortly shall we see. Till then, in patience our proceeding be." Exeunt all from the scene. End of Scene 1. Act 5, Scene 2. A hall in the castle. Enter Hamlet and Horatio into the scene. Hamlet speaks, "So much for this, sir. Now shall you see the other? Do you remember all the circumstance?" Horatio exclaims, "Remember it, my lord." Hamlet continues, "Sir, in my heart there was a kind of fighting that would not let me sleep. Methought I lay worse than the Mutines in the bilboes, rashly, and praised be rashness for it. Let us know. Our indiscretion sometimes serves us well, when our deep plots do pall, and that should learn us there's a divinity that shapes our ends. Rough hew them how we will. Horatio responds, that is most certain. Hamlet continues, up from my cabin, my sea gown scarfed about me, in the dark groped, I find out them, had my desire, fingered their packet, and in fine withdrew to mine own room again, making so bold, my fears forgetting manners, to unseal their grand commission, where I found Horatio, oh, royal knavery, an exact command, larded with many several sorts of reasons, importing Denmark's health, and England's too, with, ho, such bugs and goblins in my life, that, on the supervise, no leisure bated, no, not to say the grinding of an axe, my head should be struck off. Horatio questions, is't possible? Hamlet continues, here's the commission, read it at more leisure, but wilt thou hear now how I did proceed? Horatio responds, I beseech you. Hamlet continues, being thus benetted round with villainies, or I could make a prologue to my brains. They had begun the play, I sat me down, devised a new commission, wrote it fair. I once did hold it, as our statists do, a baseness to write fair, and labored much how to forget that learning. But, sir, now it did me yeoman's service. Wilt thou know the effect of what I wrote? Horatio replies, Ay, good my lord. Hamlet continues, an earnest conjuration from the king, as England was his faithful tributary, as love between them like the palm might flourish, as peace should still her wheaten garland wear, and stand a calm atween their amities, and many such like, as is of great charge, that, on the view of knowing of these contents, without debatement further, more or less, he should the bearers put to sudden death, not striving time allowed. Horatio questions, how was this sealed? Hamlet continues, why, even in that was heaven ordinate. I had my father's signet in my purse, which was the model of the Danish seal, folded the writ up in the form of the other, subscribed it, gave the impression, placed it safely, the changeling never known. Now, the next day, was our sea flight, and what to this was sequent thou know'st already. Horatio responds, so Guildenstern and Rosencrantz go to't. Hamlet continues, why, man, they did make love to this employment. They are not near my conscience. Their defeat does by their own insinuation grow. 'Tis dangerous when the baser nature comes between the pass and fell incensed points of mighty opposites. Horatio exclaims, why, what a king is this? Hamlet continues, does it not, thinks thee, stand me now upon? He that hath killed my king, and whored my mother, popped in between the election of my hopes, thrown out his angle for my proper life, and with such cozenage, is't not perfect conscience to quit him with his arm, and is't not to be damned, to let this canker of our nature come in further evil? Horatio responds, it must be shortly known to him from England what is the issue of the business there. Hamlet responds, it will be short, the interim is mine, and a man's life's no more than to say one. But I am very sorry, good Horatio, that to Laertes I forgot myself, for, by the image of my cause, I see the portraiture of this, I'll court his favors, but, sure, the bravery of his grief did put me into a towering passion. Horatio responds, peace, who comes here? Enter Osric into the scene. Osric speaks. Your lordship is right. Welcome back to Denmark. Hamlet responds. I humbly thank you, sir. Dost know this water fly? Horatio responds. No, my good lord. Hamlet continues. Thy state is the more gracious, for 'tis a vice to know him. He hath much land, and fertile. Let a beast be lord of beasts, and his crib shall stand at the king's mess. 'Tis a chog, but, as I say, spacious in the possession of dirt. Osric replies, Sweet lord, if your lordship were at leisure, I should impart a thing to you from his majesty. Hamlet continues, I will receive it, sir, with all diligence of spirit. Put your bonnet to his right use, 'tis for the head. Osric responds, I thank your lordship, it is very hot. Hamlet continues, No, believe me, 'tis very cold, the wind is northerly. Osric replies, It is indifferent cold, my lord, indeed. Hamlet continues, But yet methinks it is very sultry and hot, or my complexion. Osric replies, Exceedingly, my lord, it is very sultry, as 'twere. I cannot tell how, but, my lord, his majesty bade me signify to you that he has laid a great wager on your head. Sir, this is the matter. Hamlet responds, I beseech you, remember. Hamlet moves him to put on his hat. Osric replies, Nay, good my lord, for mine ease, in good faith. Sir, here's newly come to court Laertes, believe me, an absolute gentleman, full of most excellent differences, of very soft society, and great showing. Indeed, to speak feelingly of him, he is the card or calendar of gentry, for you shall find in him the continent of what part a gentleman would see. Hamlet responds, Sir, his definement suffers no perdition in you, though, I know, to divide him inventorially would dizzy the arithmetic of memory, and yet but yaw neither, in respect of his quick sale. But in the verity of extolment, I take him to be a soul of great article, and his infusion of such dearth and rareness, as, to make true diction of him, his semblable in his mirror, and who else would trace him, his umbrage, nothing more. Osric responds, Your lordship speaks most infallibly of him. Hamlet questions, The consonancy, sir, why do we wrap the gentleman in our more rawer breath? Osric questions, Sir? Horatio questions, It's not possible to understand in another tongue. You will do't, sir, really. Hamlet questions, What imports the nomination of this gentleman? Osric questions, Of Laertes? Horatio responds, His purse is empty already, all's golden words are spent. Hamlet adds, Of him, sir. Osric continues, I know you are not ignorant. Hamlet replies, I would you did, sir, yet, in faith, if you did, it would not much approve me. Well, sir. Osric replies, You are not ignorant of what excellence Laertes is. Hamlet continues, I dare not confess that, lest I should compare with him in excellence, but to know a man well were to know himself. Osric replies, I mean, sir, for his weapon, but in the imputation laid on him by them, in his meed he's unfellowed. Hamlet questions, What's his weapon? Osric responds, Rapier and dagger. Hamlet replies, That's two of his weapons, but, well. Osric continues, The king, sir, hath wagered with him 6 Barbary horses, against the which he has imponed, as I take it, 6 French rapiers and poniards, with their assigns as girdle, hanger, and so on. 3 of the carriages, in faith, are very dear to fancy, very responsive to the hilts, most delicate carriages, and of very liberal conceit. Hamlet questions, what call you the carriages? Horatio adds, I knew you must be edified by the margent air you had done. Osric continues, the carriages, sir, are the hangers. Hamlet responds, the phrase would be more germane to the matter if we could carry a cannon by our sides. I would it be the hangers till then, but on 6 Barbary horses against 6 French swords, their assigns, and 3 liberal conceited carriages. That's the French bet against the Danish. Why is this imponed, as you call it? Osric responds, the king, sir, hath laid, sir, that in a dozen passes between yourself and him, he shall not exceed you 3 hits. He hath laid on 12 for 9, and it would come to immediate trial, if your lordship would vouchsafe the answer. Hamlet questions, what if I answer no? Osric continues, I mean, my lord, the opposition of your person in trial. Hamlet replies, sir, I will walk there in the hall, if it please his majesty. It is the breathing time of day with me. Let the foils be brought, the gentleman willing, and the king hold his purpose. I will win for him, and I can. If not, I will gain nothing but my shame and the odd hits. Osric questions, shall I redeliver you e'en so? Hamlet responds, to this effect, sir, after what flourish your nature will. Osric replies, I commend my duty to your lordship. Hamlet responds, yours, yours. Exit Osric from the scene. Hamlet continues, he does well to commend it himself. There are no tongues else for his turn. Horatio replies, his lapswing runs away with the shell on his head. Hamlet continues, he did comply with his dug before he sucked it. Thus has he, and many more of the same breed, that I know the drossy age dotes on, only got the tune of the time and outward habit of encounter, a kind of yesty collection, which carries them through and through the most fond and winnowed opinions, and do but blow them to their trial, the bubbles are out. Enter a lord into the scene. Lord speaks, my lord, his majesty commended him to you by young Osric, who brings back to him that you attend him in the hall. He sends to know if your pleasure hold to play with Laertes, or that you will take longer time. Hamlet responds, I am constant to my purposes. They follow the king's pleasure. If his fitness speaks, mine is ready, now or whensoever, provided I be so able as now. Lord replies, the king and queen and all are coming down. Hamlet responds, in happy time. Lord continues, the queen desires you to use some gentle entertainment to Laertes before you fall to play. Hamlet replies, she well instructs me. Exit Lord from the scene. Horatio speaks, you will lose this wager, my lord. Hamlet responds, I do not think so. Since he went into France, I have been in continual practice. I shall win at the odds, but thou wouldst not think how ill all's here about my heart, but it is no matter. Horatio replies, nay, good my lord. Hamlet continues, it is but foolery, but it is such a kind of gain-giving as would perhaps trouble a woman. Horatio responds, if your mind dislike anything, obey it. I will forestall their repair hither, and say you were not fit. Hamlet continues, not a whit. We defy augury. There is special providence in the fall of a sparrow. If it be now, 'tis not to come. If it be not to come, it will be now. If it be not now, yet it will come. The readiness is all, since no man has aught of what he leaves. What is't to leave betimes? Let be. Enter king, queen, Laertes, and lords, Osric, and other attendants with foils and gauntlets, with a table of flagons of wine on it, into the scene. King speaks. Come, Hamlet, come, and take this hand from me. The king puts Laertes' hand into Hamlet's. Hamlet responds, Give me your pardon, sir, I've done you wrong, but pardoned as you are a gentleman. This presence knows, and you must needs have heard, how I am punished with sore distraction. What I have done that might your nature, honor, and exception roughly awake, I here proclaim was madness. Was't Hamlet wronged Laertes? Never Hamlet. If Hamlet from himself be ta'en away, and when he's not himself does wrong Laertes, then Hamlet does it not. Hamlet denies it. Who does it then? His madness. If't be so, Hamlet is of the faction that is wronged. His madness is poor Hamlet's enemy. Sir, in this audience, let my disclaiming from a proposed evil free me so far in your most generous thoughts, that I have shot mine arrow o'er the house, and hurt my brother. Laertes replies, I am satisfied in nature, whose motive, in this case, should stir me most to my revenge. But in my terms of honor I stand aloof, and will no reconcilement, till, by some elder masters of known honor, I have a voice and precedent of peace, to keep my name ungored. But till that time I do receive your offered love-like love, and will not wrong it. Hamlet responds, I embrace it freely, and will this brother's wager frankly play. Give us the foils, come on. Laertes responds, Come, one for me. Hamlet continues, I'll be your foil, Laertes. In mine ignorance your skill shall, like a star I' the darkest night, stick fiery off indeed. Laertes responds, You mock me, sir. Hamlet, No, by this hand. King speaks, Give them the foils, young Osric. Cousin Hamlet, you know the wager. Hamlet responds, Very well, my lord, your grace has laid the odds o' the weaker side. King replies, I do not fear it, I have seen you both, but since he is bettered, we have therefore odds. Laertes speaks, This is too heavy, let me see another. Hamlet speaks, This likes me well, these foils have all a length. Hamlet and Laertes prepare to play. Osric speaks, my good lord. King responds, Set me the stoups of wine upon that table. If Hamlet give the first or second hit, or quit in answer of the third exchange, let all the battlements their ordnance fire. The king shall drink to Hamlet's better breath, and in the cup an union shall he throw, richer than that which 4 successive kings in Denmark's crown have worn. Give me the cups, and let the kettle to the trumpet speak, the trumpet to the cannoneer without, the cannons to the heavens to earth. Now the king drinks to Hamlet. Come, begin, and you, the judges, bear a wary eye. Hamlet speaks, Come on, sir. Laertes responds, Come, my lord. Hamlet and Laertes play. Hamlet Hamlet speaks. 1. Laertes responds. No. Hamlet. Judgment. Osric speaks. A hit, a very palpable hit. Laertes replies. Well, again. King speaks. Stay, give me drink. Hamlet, this pearl is thine. Here's to thy health. Trumpets sound, and cannon shut off within. King continues. Give him the cup. Hamlet replies. I'll play this bout first. Set it by a while. Come. Hamlet and Laertes play. Hamlet continue. Another hit. What say you? Laertes responds. A touch, I do confess. King speaks. Our son shall win. Queen replies. He's fat and scant of breath. Here, Hamlet, take my napkin, rub thy brows. The queen carouses to thy fortune, Hamlet. Hamlet exclaims. Good madam. King speaks. Gertrude, do not drink. Queen replies. I will, my lord, I pray you, pardon me. King speaks aside. It is the poisoned cup. It is too late. Hamlet replies. I dare not drink yet, madam, by and by. Queen replies. Come, let me wipe thy face. Laertes speaks. My lord, I'll hit him now. King responds. I do not think't. Laertes says aside. And yet it is almost against my conscience. Hamlet speaks. Come, for the third, Laertes. You but dally, I pray you. Pass with your best violence. I am afeard you make a wanton of me. Laertes questions. Say you so? Come on. Hamlet and Laertes play. Osric speaks. Nothing, neither way. Laertes exclaims. Have at you now. Laertes wounds Hamlet. Then, in scuffling, they change rapiers, and Hamlet wounds Laertes. King speaks. Part them, they are incensed. Hamlet replies. Nay, come again. The queen falls on the floor. Osric speaks. Look to the queen there. Ho! Horatio replies. They bleed on both sides. How is it, my lord? Osric questions. How is't, Laertes? Laertes replies. Why, as a woodcock to thine own springe, Osric, I am justly killed with mine own treachery. Hamlet questions. How does the queen? King replies. She swoons to see them bleed. Queen responds. No, no, the drink, the drink. Oh, my dear Hamlet, the drink, the drink. I am poisoned. The queen dies. Hamlet exclaims. Oh, villainy! Ho! Let the door be locked. Treachery! Seek it out. Laertes replies. It is here, Hamlet. Hamlet, thou art slain. No medicine in the world can do thee good. In thee there is not half an hour of life. The treacherous instrument is in thy hand. Unbaited and envenomed, the foul practice hath turned itself on me. Lo, here I lie, never to rise again. Thy mother's poisoned, I can no more. The king's to blame. Hamlet exclaims. The point in venom too. Then venom to thy work. Hamlet stabs the king. All speak. Treason, treason. King responds. Oh, yet defend me, friends. I am but hurt. Hamlet replies. Hear, thou incestuous, murderous, damned Dane. Drink off this potion. Is thy union here? Follow my mother. king dies. Laertes speaks. He is justly served. It is a poison tempered by himself. Exchange forgiveness with me, noble Hamlet. Mine and my father's death come not upon thee, nor thine of mine. Laertes dies. Hamlet responds, Heaven make thee free of it. I follow thee. I am dead. Horatio, wretched queen, adieu. You that took pale and tremble at this chance, that are but mutes or audience to this act, had I but time, as this fell sergeant, death is strict in his arrest. Oh, I could tell you, but let it be. Horatio, I am dead. Thou livest. Report me and my cause aright to the unsatisfied. Horatio responds, Never believe it. I am more an antique Roman than a Dane. Here's yet some liquor left. Hamlet continues, As thou art a man, give me the cup. Let go, by heaven, I'll have't. O good Horatio, what a wounded name. Things standing thus unknown shall live behind me. If thou didst ever hold me in thy heart, absent thee from felicity a while, and in this harsh world draw thy breath in pain, to tell my story. A march happens afar off, and shot within. Hamlet continues, What warlike noise is this? Osric responds, Young Fortinbras, with conquest come from Poland, to the ambassadors of England gives this warlike volley. Hamlet replies, Oh, I die, Horatio. The potent poison quite o'ercrows my spirit. I cannot live to hear the news from England. But I do prophesy the election lights on Fortinbras. He has my dying voice, so tell him with the occurrence, more and less, which have solicited. The rest is silence. Hamlet dies. Horatio speaks. Now cracks a noble heart. Good night, sweet prince. And flights of angels sing thee to thy rest. A march happens within. Horatio continues. Why does the drum come hither? Enter Fortinbras and the English ambassadors with drum, colors, and attendants into the scene. Fortinbras questions, Where is this sight? Horatio responds, What is it you would see? If aught of woe or wonder, cease your search. Fortinbras responds, This quarry carries on havoc, O proud death. What feast is forward in thine eternal cell, if thou so many princes at a shot so bloodily hast struck? First ambassador responds, The sight is dismal, and our affairs from England come too late. The ears are senseless that should give us hearing, to tell him his commandment is fulfilled, that Rosencrantz and Guildenstern are dead. Where should we have our thanks? Horatio replies, Not from his mouth. Had it the ability of life to thank you, he never gave commandment for their death. But since, so jump upon this bloody question, you from the Polack wars, and you from England, are here arrived, give order that these bodies high on a stage be placed to the view, and let me speak to the yet unknowing world how these things came about. So shall you hear of carnal, bloody, and unnatural acts, of accidental judgments, casual slaughters, of death put on by cunning enforced cause, and, in this upshot, purposes mistook fallen on the inventors' heads. All this can I truly deliver. Fortinbras responds, Let us haste to hear it, and call the noblest to the audience. For me, with sorrow I embrace my fortune. I have some rights of memory in this kingdom, which now to claim my vantage doth invite me. Horatio replies, Of that I shall have also cause to speak, and from his mouth whose voice would draw on more. But let this same be presently performed, even while men's minds are wild, lest more mischance on plots and errors happen. Fortinbras responds, Let 4 captains bear Hamlet like a soldier to the stage, for he was likely, had he been put on, to have proved most royally, and for his passage the soldiers' music and the rites of war speak loudly for him. Take up the bodies, such a sight as this becomes the field, but here shows much amiss. Go, bid these soldiers shoot. A dead march, exeunt all from the scene, bearing off the bodies, after which a peal of ordnance is shot off. End of Scene 2. An End of Hamlet by William Shakespeare.